baptized into a community. We're baptized into a community, the community of Christ. But we're living in a time when community is as we have known it, nigh unto impossible. Community is a danger to us all when we are in physical community with one another. I had a conversation with a colleague this week. One of many of my colleagues who are truly, truly struggling. I think all of my colleagues, as well as everyone, is struggling. But what this colleague said is, I don't know how to be a priest in this situation. I don't know what to do. And truly, this person has been pretty paralyzed for the last going on 2 years now. And this colleague was truly speaking from their heart. They truly are stumped how to serve their people in these times. And I think that's true not only of fellow colleagues in the clergy, but of all of this, all of us. How do we in these times, when we are so separated, when we are so divided, when being with others seems to be presenting danger, how do we show and act and be the community of Jesus Christ, which for me is what baptism is. For me, baptism is the entrance into a community that claims Christ is their King, who claims to follow Jesus Christ. And in just a few minutes, we will be reaffirming the baptismal vows that we made that were made for us at our baptism. The vows that we promise that God has made covenant with us and that we will do, as the baptismal covenant says, with God's help, we will follow and do these things. Now, I came here to you in the midst of a pandemic. It's been almost a year. Temporary is always interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not seeing a real clear ending to the temporary, although maybe the vestry has some other ideas. And I guess the difference between my colleague and I is I view this as a challenge. I view this as, how do you figure out something totally new, totally different? How do we be community with one another, much less into the broader world? And I am intrigued by possibilities. I've been looking at possibilities for Lenten studies. I've been looking at possibilities for what we might do during Black History Month, which is next month in February. I'm intrigued. I've been getting on Facebook some wonderful little, it's a picture with a little quote from St. Albans Episcopal Church. And I clicked, said, where is this? Turns out it's an Episcopal church in California. And it's a small church, maybe not as small as us, but it's a small church. And they've figured out a way to make a presence and an influence in the wider world via the internet. And I think that's one of the things we're called to do. How can we bring to others the good news of Jesus Christ, even as we separated in our houses? How do we live into our baptismal covenant, even in new and strange times? I'm sure, like me, you were hoping that the pandemic was basically behind us and we were back in person, and so eventually Liam would get baptized and Isley, and we'd be able to have the youngins in with us. Hi there, Elijah. Is that Elijah? Liam.
Oops.
Okay, Liam. Hi, Liam. Someday I'll actually see these kids, so then I'll know. But here we are back in person, and quite frankly, we have more people this Sunday than we have had for the last several Sundays. So, you know, perhaps going back to just virtual is a means of reinforcing and uniting our commonality, our community. Much as I love to be in person, and that is my first preference, one of the things I really realized was it's hard to be addressing two different audiences, those in front of your face and those that are over on the side on a camera that I couldn't even see. And so I think, as disappointing as it is that we are going to be on Zoom only, it's also an opportunity to bring ourselves together and to share. And I would invite you during the week, if you come across a quotation or a piece of scripture or something that really resonates with you, you know, jot it down, save it, and bring it so that we can, during our sharing time, we can share those things that have given us a little lift in our day. Things as simple as seeing Narcy at the airport with the training of the drug dog, seeing Isley and Liam online here. We need to celebrate and to treasure the new ways we can be together as we celebrate and renew our promises to be Christ's people in this strange, strange world. And now, if you would go back to the bulletin.
Spotlight, okay. Share. Share, stop recording too.
Yay.
There we go. Need to go up a little bit higher.
Okay,
There.
There you go.
there we go, yeah.
See this better.
Through the
Alright.
Paschal mystery, dear friends, we are buried with Christ by baptism into his death and raised with him to newness of life. Today,